there we go. We're back online. So again, sorry for the inconvenience. Hopefully you're still eager to hear what we have to share with you today. So like Roel just did the introduction. So today we will be sharing strategies and opportunities for you to understand and get more insights and inspiration to attract new and current customers in a changing environment. Of course, working from home, doing more digital, people are using their phones and internet more and more. So of course, we want to take every opportunity to use this trend as well to our benefit to still get a connection and attract customers to our companies and to our brands. So that will be the central theme of today. So the first chapter, we will be discussing going digital, how we can use all the opportunities that we have in this day and age to grow our business. But first, what is digital marketing? Of course, digital marketing is a way to attract and communicate with your target audience and mostly to promote your products and services. But what we should not forget when we talk about digital marketing, that we don't just focus on digital. A lot of times when we talk to people about digital marketing, I start talking about very technical things. But don't forget, your target audience, your ideal customer, it's still a human being. We're dealing with real people. So when we look at digital marketing, we talk about understanding their psychology, their behavior, their dreams, their desires, their needs and wants. And we apply this psychology online. And that should be the main strategy when you talk about digital marketing and really engaging and attracting and getting your audience interested to do business with you. So the main and central question that we resolve and talk about today on the presentation is, how do we get your target audience to you? I think this is the holy grail for every single business. It doesn't matter what type of business you have, you need a consistent flow of customers that come to you. If you can solve this challenge, then you're golden, right? If you have a consistent flow of customers and your target audience coming to you, then you're doing and running a successful business. So that will be the central theme to answer this question, and hopefully you get answers today to solve this challenge in your business. So how do we get your potential customer and clients through digital marketing to you? You cannot just have a business and expect people to show up, right? I can have the best business in the world, but if people cannot find me, if they don't know where I am, if they don't know that I even exist, they will never come to me. If we look at digital marketing, we try to get our target audience to either our website or through a landing page with the goal to tell our story, to share what makes us unique, and with the eventual goal to either generate directly online sales or to get people to contact us, which might be more relevant if you're in a business-to-business situation. You might want to set up a meeting or a sales call, or you want to share information to see how you can help each other. So you try to get people to contact you. But of course, if you have a beautiful website, again, there's millions and millions of websites out on the web. People won't just show up on your website. Something needs to happen first to get your target audience to your website or to your landing page to contact you or to do business with you. So first we will look into how do we actually get the target audience to you via your website. Now, the first thing you can do, and what most companies are focusing on, is you can use search marketing to attract your target audience. This is a very good strategy because a part of your target audience is searching for a solution. We call them the searchers. That means they're really eager and active to find something that can help them to solve a problem or to ease a pain or to get rid of a certain frustration or to grow their business. So those people, we try to make sure that they can find us. If they're searching but they cannot find you, then you still have a problem. So to make sure these people can actually find you, you need to make sure that you rank high in search engines. And there you have two types of strategies. It's called SEO, search engine optimization. Imagine you go on Google and you search for something. Google shows you a lot of results that are relevant to your search query. To make sure you rank high and preferably on the top 3 positions in Google, you need to make sure you have a good SEO strategy, which means you'll be ranking high and people can find you when they're looking for a solution. However, this is a very long-term investment. It can take up to 6 months for your company or your brand, your website to show up on that first page in Google. To have a short track, you can also use search engine advertisements, which means if someone searches for something, let's say if you want to find us, you might search for a branding agency. When you do that, you instantly see an advertisement of us. So we are on top of the page. And this is something you can do directly to make sure that people can find you when they're actually searching for you. But then again, these are only the people that are actually searching for a solution. You can imagine your target audience, only 10 or 20% is actually actively searching for a solution. But what about those people that are not searching for a solution? That doesn't mean they're not interested in you, but they're just not searching yet. So there's a different strategy that you need to follow to make sure that they can actually find you. And we call this part of the target audience the scrollers. Like I said, they're not searching for a solution, but they are online. They are using their phones or their laptops or their tablets or computers. They're browsing the internet and they might be using social media. To make sure that you can find these people, you need to interrupt them. Now, when you interrupt them, for instance, if you're on Instagram, when you scroll through Instagram, you sometimes see advertisements. If you're interested in an advertisement, you might click on them and then you're guided to a website. If your company knows like, hey, my target audience spends a lot of time on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Instagram, it could be a very good strategy to make sure that you have an advertisement on those platforms that interrupts what they're doing and redirects their attention to your website so you can start to build that relationship. Now, of course, when you use either a search or an interruption marketing strategy, or best would be to combine them, you cannot expect to just set it up and hope it will do well. You need to constantly be looking for ways to improve your digital performance, which means you have to experiment, to test, and change the things that you're doing online to discover what works best for you. Because every single business is different. So you might need to focus on which channel do you use, which targeting, which ad copy. So we'll show you some examples. For instance, your target audience might be mostly on Instagram. It doesn't work if you would be running advertisements on LinkedIn. So you have to figure out which channel generates the most business to you. Which channels generate customers to click on your advertisements and come to your website. Now, for instance, if I would be selling dog food in Dubai, I don't want to target everyone living in Dubai and show advertisements for dog food. Online nowadays, you can target people, which means I can focus and show only those people that I think are relevant to buy dog food. Now, who would buy dog food? That's only people that have a dog, right? That makes perfect sense. So I don't want to target someone that doesn't own a dog because they will never buy dog food. So I can target those people that might be between the age of 20 and 40. I might be targeting people that live in a certain area. But I can also target those people that, for instance, follow a dog trainer in Dubai. If I know they're following a dog trainer, that means they most likely have a dog, so they're more likely to be a relevant potential customer. And then, of course, I can also check which type of ad copy actually grabs their attention and persuades them to come to me and make use of my offerings. So this is something you should be monitoring constantly when you look at your digital performance and your digital marketing efforts. I'll give you a short overview of what is the difference between a search and an interruption marketing strategy. because eventually these are the only two strategies that you have, and it's good to understand the pros and the cons when you decide to either take one or both of them as a new strategy going forward to grow your business. Now, the first one, like we discussed, is a search marketing. But search marketing, you're really able to find those people that are actively searching for a solution. They're eager, they're ready to take action. We call this target audience hot because they're looking, and if they find you, they're probably willing and interested to do business with you almost directly. The only thing is that if they start searching, you will not be the only one that shows up. So they can start comparing other options of your competitors. So you need to be either the price leader, the quality leader, or the niche leader to really stand out and have effective sales funnels to make this a good strategy. But like I said, target audience is hot, so it makes it a good strategy to make sure when people are searching that they can find you. Now, the other strategy is the interruption marketing. Now, back in the day, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when you had a shop, you had to wait for people to come to you. There was no internet. So you could sit there all day long and maybe there's no customers. Nowadays, you no longer have to wait for someone to come looking for you. You can start interrupting them. You can grab their attention online and make sure that they come to you. You can launch advertisements and you can create a desire in your ideal customers. You can target so-called warm traffic based on their interest. If we go back to the example of dog food, I can target everyone living in the region that I want to sell my products to when they are interested in dog training and all kinds of things related to dogs, to make sure that the relevant target audience can actually see my advertisement. A negative or a disadvantage of the interruption marketing strategy is because the customer is not actively looking for a solution, you really have to become good at grabbing their attention to make sure you persuade them to take action and to get the attractive, irresistible offer in front of them. Because you can imagine if they're doing something else, they're not looking for what you have to offer. So you really have to be good at grabbing that attention and divert their concentration and their focus to what you have to share. Now, another thing, which is, I think, a very interesting example, if you imagine you're using search marketing and you are the provider in a family and you feel like, hey, I need a security system for my house. Then you can search online for security systems. When you go online, you're in a very logical frame of mind. You're searching for the best solutions, the best technical benefits, and you probably also look for price. And now imagine a different story. You're having dinner with your family, and suddenly the doorbell rings, and there's a salesperson asking for a few minutes of your time. You're polite and you invite him in for a drink, and he will share a story with you. He shares a story how there's been burglars actively breaking into the houses of the neighborhoods. He shares a story how the mother next door is using therapy. She's having nightmares because suddenly there was a thief standing in her bedroom in the middle of the night. Of course, it's a very different perception. So the whole family becomes emotional. So there's a desire, there's a need because they were interrupted on an emotional story. And when you use search marketing, there's a logical frame of mind. When there's interruption marketing, you can desire and target more of the emotional part of the mind. So you can imagine that family that gets disrupted during dinner and they hear all the horror stories, they're more likely to invest a much, much higher amount to secure their homes and prevent someone from breaking in. While people that are in a logical frame of mind would be willing to pay much less because they must look at the technical details. So that's also something that you can help you understand the frame of mind that you have to target, the psychology when you either use search marketing or interruption marketing. Now we will show you a few examples and best practices of different types of interruption marketing. We think interruption marketing is quite new to most people, so we think it's good to show you some examples. And interestingly enough, you will see a lot of different industries use very similar strategies because those strategies are working. And that's why we think these are very relevant for you and your business to have a look at them. Now, the first one, this popped up in my Instagram feed the other day, and they use a very successful strategy. They showed a beautiful video of a watch to showcase how beautiful that watch is. If I'm in the market for buying a watch for myself or for a family member or a friend, I might click the button shop now. Then it will directly lead you to your web shop. So I can see instantly what type of watches this company has to sell. And while I'm browsing this web shop, instantly I am being interrupted with something very interesting. I got a pop-up that shows spin to win. If I enter my email address, I can win a watch. So most people think, hey, that's interesting. I'm interested in this watch. I'm looking at the shop and now I have a chance to get this watch for free. How amazing. So I put in my email address hoping that I would win this watch. Now, and then afterwards said, hey, congratulations, you won. Of course, you did not win the watch because it's not that easy most of the time. But luckily, I got a discount code, Lucky10, which means if I want to continue and buy a watch, I instantly get a 10% discount. So people might feel, hey, yes, I'm lucky. I want a 10% discount, so I'm more likely to buy the watch and I continue shopping. But what's even more genius about this process that you see here is the moment you fill in your email address, they have your details so they can contact you. So afterwards, for the rest of the month, and basically as long as I don't unsubscribe to their list, they can send me relevant emails. If I'm still interested in their watch or in their brand, they can share like, hey, don't forget to use your discount code, it expires. So act now and maybe I will do that. Even if they have a new watch or they have different offers, different promotions, they can keep following up as long as they want, which makes it very useful. And this all happens automatically. So you don't need salespeople. This system works automatically for you, so you can keep engaging with your target audience. The next example that also used a very smart strategy is Squat Wolf. They are selling gym shorts online. And this is an advertisement that was running on Facebook. If you're active and you like to use active outfits, you can go to their web shop. And if you do that, you see their web shop and you can start shopping for gym shorts. Now, while you browse their web shop, they had a very interesting question. And most people would say yes to this. I mean, who is not interested in getting 10% off when they're interested in buying something? So most people here will click yes, please. And when they do that, they say, yes, I like to get 10% discount. And after that, they ask you like, hey, if you're interested in the 10% discount, please fill up your email address and you get that discount. And in internet marketing, we call this a micro commitment. Because they ask you this question, hey, are you interested? And you answer it with yes, you're more likely to give your email address. So also here, they can start sharing promotions and offers long after you've seen this advertisement. So maybe 1 month or 1 year from now, they can still send me an email showing all the latest and new gear that they're selling. Because online and in digital marketing and in marketing on itself, they say the money is in the follow-up. If you talk to someone the first time, you know they might not directly want to do business with you. But the more times you engage and the experience is good, the more likely you are to do business with you. The same is true online. So if you can get the target audience details, this allows you to build a relationship for free. Because the moment they give you their email addresses, like you saw earlier, you can keep engaging with them and build that relationship. And most likely more and more people will actually start doing business with you because of that relationship. That works better than keep advertising to the same person over and over, in which you have to keep paying for them. And it's a different frame of mind because they only see your first advertisement every single time. They don't see any developments or new offers that you might have to offer. They don't build that personal relationship with you. Now, if you look into more of a business-to-business type of setting, there is the Own Your Beachfront Villas that is offered in Ras Al Khaimah. You see a beautiful picture of the beach. Of course, a lot of people that might be interested in owning a villa on the beach, they might be very interested in going through this advertisement. So they see these pictures and they think, hey, yes, I want to know more. I click learn more. Then they instantly take you to and explore the rest of Cayman developments. And if you say, yes, I'm interested, I click next. And then they ask you instantly to fill up the contact form. So this is also a very smart strategy. They don't send you to a website that might distract you or to get you doing something else. They instantly try to get in touch with you. So like we said, the moment you can get in touch with your target audience, the more likely you are to do business together. And this is also happening on LinkedIn. The government of the UK is helping business to expand into the UK. And if you're interested and you see this ad, you might think like, hey, yes, I'm actually considering moving my business or expanding my business to the United Kingdom. They also ask you instantly to get in touch, to give your phone number, to give your email address, and instantly submit the form, which is also a very good strategy to get in touch with your target audience. Then we also look at the secret formula that is helping you to connect with your ideal customers. This is a formula. If you follow this, so we're sharing this with you, so this is actually something you can start using today. If you follow this formula, you will get a lot of answers, insights to connect with your target audience. So this is a secret formula that helps you discover which strategy works best for you, for your market, for your target audience, and your brand. So hopefully you will start using what we're sharing you now, this formula, to help you generate a new strategy that will help you actually find what is best for your market, your target audience, and your brand. So if you have a pen and paper, it's good to make notes, to write down some questions or copy this strategy, because we really think this formula will help you start your digital marketing. Of course, the first thing, if you want to really connect with your ideal customer, is to make sure that you really understand your target audience. Who is your ideal customer? You might even want to go online eventually and print out some pictures that really represent your target audience. It might be a man or a woman with a lot of different interests. The better you understand them, the more likely you are to build a connection with them and to help you grow your business. So what do they need? What do they want? What are their fears? What are their frustrations or desires? It's good to write down these questions and try to answer them as good as you can, so you get a lot of new insights, so you know how to connect with them. Now, once you understand your target audience, it will be much easier to find them, because the reality is your target audience, your ideal customers, they're already somewhere. They are somewhere online. So you have to know, where can I meet them? Where are they hanging out? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they following certain people or influencers on Instagram or on LinkedIn? Are they engaging on listening to podcasts? Are they browsing certain websites? Those type of questions are good to understand, so you know where you can find your ideal customer. And what are they searching for? If they want to use your services, what type of keywords would they use? Where do you need to make sure that you show up to find you? The next thing is then, of course, if you know where to find them, if you understand them, you can bait them. You can grab their attention, you can pique their curiosity and get them to take action. What is it that you can give them that they are willing to share their information with you, so you can get in touch? So really take a lot of time and think about what you can offer them that really appeals to them. And of course, next, what are the results that you can get them? There's certain results you can offer. You have products, you have services. There's something unique that only you can offer. What are those results? What is that ultimate solution that you have for your ideal client? And this is something you should write down and then think about, what is the first piece of product or service that you can offer that they really want to have, and then you can start building a long-term business relationship. So if you like, take a screenshot of this slide or write it down. So I really think this is really helpful. If you answer these questions, you will find it much easier to connect with your ideal customers. Now, so if we summarize this, how can we really engage with our ideal customers using search and interruption marketing? So we go back to that first question. How do we get the target audience, our ideal customers, to us, our companies and our business? The first thing, like we said, we have to make sure that we get the right message in front of them at the right channels, targeted to the right people, and with the right advertisement copy. So once you understand what they want, you can get the right message in front of them. Once you share that message, you can share a story. And with that story, you can get them to visit your webpage or your landing pages. So you can direct their attention to your brand, to your products, your services. Then on your website, you can tell a story. This story can help them leave their contact details or do business with you. So hopefully they will share or purchase directly from you. So that is the ultimate goal, to get them to contact you or leave their contact details, or of course do a direct purchase if you have an e-commerce platform. Now, in case they don't do business with you directly, there's also a way to retarget them. So you can show again advertisement after advertisements to remind them like, hey, you showed interest in me. You have been to my website. So you can connect with them in different ways. And if they did share their contact details with you, you can start building that relationship. Maybe you don't do business the first time, but you can still share current and future offers that share value, that share insights to really turn a potential client into a long-term loyal client. So I think this is a nice summary for you to get an understanding of what you can accomplish with digital marketing if you set it up using both search and interruption marketing strategies. Now, Roel will continue and share some digital opportunities that you have to grow your brand or grow your business.
Thank you, Koen. I think all of you quite some information so far. Maybe some parts are familiar, some insights are new, and I think that's also the purpose of this webinar. But in the end, if you're an entrepreneur, of course, you're also looking for practical advice and things that you can do on quite a short notice. So if you look at the opportunities and things that you can implement on a very short term, basically starting today, we have some tips and tricks. So for your brand and for your business, it's very important to create consistency. And how we always look at a brand is that we compare a brand with a person. So imagine you see me right now in a suit and I behave or talk in a specific way. And then you bump into me in the weekend and suddenly I behave different, I look different, then you are confused. And on the moment that your target audience gets confused, they back out. So consistency is key. So make sure that in all your communication and in touch points with existing clients and with potential clients, that the consistency is there of your brand from a design perspective, but also communication. One of the biggest advantages of having a digital strategy is that you can do sales 24/7. So you don't have to rely on your commercial team or your commercial director who only works 8-9 hours per day. No, if you have a proper sales strategy, you can have sales 24/7 every place around the world. So that's of course a huge advantage. And as Koen said, on the moment that you know who your target audience is, and you have a strong analysis of the profile of your buyer via a digital strategy, you can reach your target audience. You can reach new people who never heard about you. And of course, you can reach a larger target audience with less effort and less time. So this is a huge USP. And of course, based on data, and that is, I think, one of the biggest advantages of a proper digital strategy is, based on data, you can optimize. So we can analyze what is working for your brand, what is not working for your brand, and how can we optimize this to get better results. Also, one of the advantages is you can automate a lot of processes. You don't need manpower for it. You can scale and you can duplicate what works. So on the moment that you have a specific advertisement, and imagine you're running 3 or 4 different types of advertisements on different channels and you see that one of those advertisements is really working well based on data, then it's easy to duplicate that advertisement and make sure that the return on investment goes up. And last but not least, of course, it's cost effective. On the moment that you implement these tips and tricks and the strategy, you can literally calculate what is the investment that I'm putting in and what is the return on investment that I'm getting out in new clients, in cross-sell and upsell. So these are really important opportunities for your business to grow. And to even help you to select a digital partner on the moment that you would be interested in this, there are a couple of factors that you need to take in consideration. One is, of course, what are your goals? What are your expectations? To be very frank with you, especially if you, for instance, focus on SEO, you cannot expect to get a lot of results on short term because it takes 3 to 6 months before your key phrases will be findable on a good position in Google. So your goals and expectations are key. And you need a partner who understands your business and your brand and your market. So you don't need a partner who will tell you, okay, give me 3,000 for ad spend and give me 3,000 for SEO. No, you need a partner who first analyzes what is going on, what is the status quo, and where are the opportunities for your brand in the market from a digital perspective. So that strategic input is key. That is the most relevant if you want to have success online. And as I said before, you can create a tailor-made approach based on data, especially when you perform on different channels with different advertisements. You can see what is working and what is not working. Of course, you have your own budget. Some companies are small, some companies are middle, and of course we have the big guys who have a lot of budget to spend, but also your budget is important. So always listen to the experts. They can advise on what kind of budget you would need to have success. And let's be honest with the budget from the beginning, instead of going back and forth, and it will immediately help you to be effective online. And of course, it's very important to have a personal connection with the persons that you're working with. And I think that's also how it works in life. So these are some quick tips and tricks that you immediately can implement on the moment that you're selecting a partner to help you with your online marketing. So I think we reached the last slide. We took 5 minutes more than expected. Sorry for the delay in the beginning. We had some technical issues. And now we have some time for your questions and answers.
Thanks, Koen. Yeah, and Roel, that's great. Really comprehensive. So I'm open for anyone who'd like to sort of stand up and speak up with a question.
Here, Joseph.
Please interrupt me if you wish to. Otherwise, we have got a couple lined up. So from Tim and Michiel here, a couple of questions around that watch example, maybe concerns on the legal and ethical boundaries of what's going on there. So sort of harvesting an email address, promising a watch, but just giving a code. How would you guys comment there on where the boundaries are? Maybe a little bit specific to the UAE as well, if you can.
So what is exactly the question?
So taking your email address for that purpose and then using it to sort of bomb you for a month, in your view, is that okay? And then purporting a competition that could give you a watch, but in reality always giving a code. You know, how does that affect your perception of a brand?
Well, the first thing that happens if you put in your email address, maybe indeed can be slightly misleading, but they also tell you on the first email that you get that you have to confirm and give your consent that they will send you future emails. They're indeed not allowed to send you always emails after that, but when you receive that first email, you have to confirm that you're okay with them sending you more promotions and emails. And it shows you in that sense, if you go back to that example, the wheel, it shows you can win the watch, you can get a discount. Of course, hopefully they also actually give out watches and let people win to be ethical in that sense. But from a legal perspective, you always have to give your permission first before they can send you all those emails afterwards. At least that's the best practice.
Yeah, and I think from a branding perspective, it's key to find the right balance. And again, as a company owner, based on data and conversations you have, you know your client best. So it's up to brands to determine how often do we send, for instance, a follow-up or share an email to trigger that client. To give you an example, I also got interrupted on Instagram, and before I knew it, in 10 minutes, I ordered boxer shorts of $120. And what they do is every month, I get one email with the new products. And it works because I ordered new products again. So determining how often you will do this always goes back to the strategy and the personality of the brand and how far you can go with the target audience. I think that's for every company a tailor-made answer, I would say.
Okay, thanks. Then from Bob, also going back to the Paul Rich watch example, and saying that was a clear sort of B2C interruption style. How would you expect that to play out for B2B? What would be the key differences for that kind of approach?
Yeah, I think you can do the same on LinkedIn. I will give you a very plain example, a link to Skyne. So if we look at our business, we're focusing on CMOs or C-level. So what we can do is that we write a very interesting article linked to a specific business, and we're going to promote this article on LinkedIn linked to our target audience. So the same interruption can happen on LinkedIn. So imagine you're going on LinkedIn to see what are the updates today, and suddenly you get an inbox message from me, personally from Skyne, linked to a subject that you are interested in. So at that moment, I'm interrupting your day. You can do the same with a sponsored feed on LinkedIn to have an article that links to that specific function of or job or company. And again, you're interrupting that. So it's basically getting Skyne top of mind. So you can basically implement the same methodology from a B2B perspective, but probably you're using different marketing or communication channels.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very clear, very clear. Maybe sticking with interruption marketing, you're clearly sharing best practice there. Maybe could you turn it around and share some horrible practice? And maybe again, because most of us are here from a UAE or regional point of view, and I guess your experience allows you to contrast with the way marketing is working here compared with back in Europe. What do you see that's not going well, and sort of models that people are stuck on?
Yeah, I think for me personally, there's not a specific brand that I would highlight, but I think more overall. On the moment, for instance, one of the first points that I mentioned in the tips and tricks is consistency. So on the moment that you see mistakes in copy or that you see mistakes in the designs, then the first thing that you would feel is, can I trust these guys if they already make mistakes in their advertisement or in their designs? So overall, I think that consistency is key, because on the moment that you can create that consistency, people will trust you. And I think that is one of the basic elements, and it sounds really simple, but to implement this is really difficult. So in general, I would say you see quite some companies who are not consistent in their messaging, who are not consistent in their designs, who are not consistent in the products that they offer. And of course, you also have the customer care part to interact with clients. And specifically there with e-commerce, the quality of the customer service, and unfortunately in this region, is quite a challenge. So yeah, I think without taking out one specific example, I think overall, this is also what we see here in the region, but also around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think it's also bad practice if you use a so-called shotgun approach, which means you just shoot and try to capture everyone online without focusing on your target audience or your ideal customers. For instance, if you open a new restaurant and you have live music, you don't want to target everyone, but you want to target people that are specifically interested in live music, maybe because they're liking Bob Marley or the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because that's the type of style you're going to play that evening. So as a best practice, you want to have your advertisements and your targeting focused on, hey, my restaurant tonight plays music from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and not just focusing on everyone in Dubai, for instance, if you talk about the region, and everyone could come to my restaurant, because that's like a shotgun approach. You try to hit everyone, but you might miss everyone. So you really want to focus with your targeting, with your messaging, and of course, like Roel said, be consistent in that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very, very clear. Again, open if anybody would like to step up and ask a different question. Let's see, maybe a little bit back to the beginning, just again to sort of share a little bit of knowledge with the group. That balance between SEO and SEA, sort of, how does that first conversation go with a customer about deciding where to put their effort based on their sort of timing and objectives? I heard you talk about, but maybe you could expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, well, like we said, indeed, the difference between organic search results, and in that sense, it depends on your target audience, your industry, what is their behavior. Some audiences might prefer to scroll past the advertisements and really look for an organic search result. That is Google's vote to say, hey, this is the most relevant company that matches your search criteria. But it need a long-term investment to make sure that you can build up that reputation and authority online, that you actually show up on the first page of Google. Because that means a lot of other people have been talking about you online, and they say, hey, look, if you're this type of company, then you should go to them. They're basically recommending you. Like you said, if you have a higher budget and a shorter time frame, then an advertisement search engine optimization is better, because then when you search for something instantly from day one that your advertisement is online, you can be on top of that page. So they can find you instantly. So if you search for something right now, you will see at the top, you first see the paid advertisements. That means someone is paying for you to see that advertisement. That also, of course, depends on your budget, on your timeline, and your target audience. But in that sense, it's a slightly different strategy. And ideally, you have both, because that means if you have an advertisement first, they see you, they see your name. So that's the first time they hear about you. And if they scroll down and you also show up on the organic search results, then they see like, hey, I see them again. So people are voting for them, they have an authority. So they're more likely to click on either one, your advertisement or the organic search results.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. I think we're a little over time. One last question there. How mature from Fatullah is the e-commerce market in the UAE comparing to your experience in the Netherlands? What happens next, maybe?
No, I think that if you look at the last 2-3 years, of course, the UAE is still a little bit behind. If you look at e-commerce, if you, for instance, compare it to the Netherlands, or maybe some other European countries. On the other hand, I think they're also doing really well. For instance, look at Souq.com, that is sold, local grown company. Look at Noon.com. I think they're doing really well, even from a customer-centric perspective and the customer service. They're quick. They have a big offering. Also, the UAE is looking at creating a free zone on its own, specifically for e-commerce. Dubai Commerce City is at this moment working on it. So I think e-commerce is very important for the region. It will also help for new brands and businesses to grow. And I think at this moment you see the same in other countries. Look at Saudi, look at Kuwait. A lot of e-commerce platforms are popping up. And even for small startups or SMEs, they are launching e-commerce platforms to sell their products. So I think from that perspective, of course, the market is still learning. but it's really getting more mature every day if we look at the current market. Yeah.
Okay, great. On that optimistic note then, on behalf of the two business councils, thank you very much for your generosity, for your time and your preparation, sort of individually and from Skyne to bring some of that marketing magic to our members and guests. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, and we'll
Thank
leave
you
it
very
there.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Was
It
a good day,
pleasure.
all. Was our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you very much.